Well, I got to pose the question out there: why was Andrew Jackson put on the $20 bill in the first place? And you know what the answer is? Nobody really knows. But I think I do know why. I'm pretty damn sure I know why. Well, first off, let's get into some of the real money stuff out here. Like, this was in gold coin, redeemable in gold coin. And actually, if you fast forward to 1963, it used to have on there, payment, all payments, legal tender for all debts and payments, whatever, and you would be able to be redeemable in lawful money on demand, right? They took that off in 1963 after they killed JFK, right? Remember that? I'm not getting the exact phrase correct, but that's not really my point of making this video. So I think I do know why they put Andrew Jackson on there in the first place. Before they had Andrew Jackson on the 20, it was Grover Cleveland. I was like, Grover Cleveland. Grover Cleveland. Okay, cool. Grover Cleveland was on the bill. He was on a $20 bill. Now, you remember, the Federal Reserve Act was passed in 1913, right? And I think it was Christmas Eve. In the wee hours of Christmas Eve, when everybody was recessed from Congress, that there wasn't enough people there to oppose the Federal Reserve Act, right? 1913. Now, it did not happen until 1928 that Andrew Jackson first appeared on a bill. But nobody's really sure why. He became president in 1929, so it was that roughly about 100 years after he became president. But why? You know what it is? They weren't celebrating this guy. What they were doing, see, Andrew Jackson hated paper money. He was right about all this stuff too. So in 1913, they took over. They got their central bank in. They defeated, what Andrew Jackson did decades and decades before by, basically putting in a more or less a central bank, even though they call it the Federal Reserve, but it's a private cartel of banks. And then that led to getting us involved in World War One, which they made a lot of money for the big military industrial complex, of course. But after World War One, a lot of people realized what was going on. Like the papers were a little more open and free back then. Now I guess the internet is a little more open and free right now, right? That's one thing. And in the 20s, you had like Harding and Calvin Coolidge and all that. The age of normalcy, and government was scaled way back after World War One. There was an age of prosperity in the 1920s. But if you freaking look at this timeline, 1928, Andrew Jackson's put on the bill. Andrew Jackson, why would the Federal Reserve, U.S. Treasury, put Andrew Jackson on a fiat note like this? Why would they do that? It's almost like an affront to him. He was against this. Why would they put him on there? Why choose him? Why him? Why not somebody else? I mean, there's a lot of people that were presidents and great. I mean, yeah, he could have been one of the best ones, but they could have put a lot of people on there. They could have put, I don't know. There's a lot of different other people they could have put on there. Paul Revere or something. I don't know, anybody. But the thing is, 1 year later, what happened after 1928? After Andrew Jackson was put on this bill, hey, we had a great stock market crash in 1929. Black Tuesday, right? Everything just boom. And, I know it's sprung back up a little bit. See, this was Black Tuesday over here. That was the big crash. But really, what happened was this dead cat bouncing, blah, blah, blah. And the real freaking crash was 1932. Everybody knows. I know a lot of people don't realize that really it was a few years later that it really clicked in where the stocks lost like 90% of their value. Maybe you know what? There's some. I don't know if this is going to happen though. Since they put Harriet Tubman on a bill, they're going to crash the markets. I don't know. I mean, I guess if they get a populist candidate gets elected to government, maybe they will do that. That's a possibility. Maybe they get Trump in there, it'll crash the hell out of the government, out of the markets or something. I don't know. But I realize why they really put him on there in the first place. Because you know what? Nobody can come up with a damn. Why did they put Andrew Jackson on the bill in the first place? The $20 bill in the first place. Nobody can come up with a good answer. Why did they get rid of Grover Cleveland and put Andrew Jackson on there? Why did they do that? It's suspicious due to the timing. the elite, if you want to call them that, the banksters, whatever the hell it was, they did not like what was going on with they call those presidents like Warren Harding and Calvin Coolidge the do nothing presidents in current history today. Now they were the age. It was the age of prosperity. Yeah, they were the presidents that scaled back the government after the government got much bigger than World War One. So what the hell happened there? See, the people, you know, the ones that are pushing for progressive socialism and all that type of stuff, and big money funding of the war machine, they don't like that. They don't like that type of stuff. So they had to get rid of it. They had to have a social, they had to have a change. Buzzword, we are change. So they had to change. You had to change everything. And the way to change everything is to make such economic hardship so people accept what the solution is going to be. Under FDR, we had a lot of actually there was a lot of garbage going on back then. I could discuss this for a long time because there was other forces even worse than FDR that were going on with Prescott Bush and all that garbage. But I look at this. I'm thinking to myself, there was nobody can really say why they put Andrew Jackson on the bill in the first place. But I think I do know why. He wouldn't want to be on that bill. It's a fiat note. He'd want to be on the gold coin. He'd want to be on a silver coin. He wouldn't want to be on the fiat note. And look what happened a year after he was put on that bill. It was like saying, hey, we the banksters of the Federal Reserve, we won. And then we're putting your face on here because we're going to make new dictates of the way the Americans run. And the Great Depression led us into World War II, which led us into which led us to the United Nations. The United Nations was on the drawing board back in the 1930s after the League of Nations was not ratified by the U.S. Senate. That's why I think they actually put Andrew Jackson on the bill in the first place to insult him. It's like a not exactly maybe to insult him, but it was almost like, hey, it's almost like putting somebody on something that they're against, right? If you're against fiat money and they put your face on fiat money, it's like putting your face on, say you're for New York Giants and you're from Alabama or something or whatever. I mean, and, say you're from Alabama and you don't like the New York Giants, and they put, your face on the New York Giants or something, whatever stadium or something. That's like, why the hell would you do that? I mean, it's crazy. That's kind of like what they did with, Andrew Jackson. Why would they put his face on a fiat note like that? It's crazy. And look what happened a year after that happened. Now, there might be, well, you could put Clint Eastwood on the bill. That'd be all right. I mean, just kidding. But, they want a woman, so I always said Annie Oakley. I'm all for Annie Oakley with 3 rifles. We can have cross rifles in the back and stuff like that, and Annie Oakley, shooting an apple off of somebody's head or something like that. It'd be kind of cool. they would love that, right? But, it's seriously, I don't know, there's a lot of people that you could put, but you know what, I look at it like this. When you got something that's working, because you can argue who the hell you're going to put on a bill all day, right? When you got something working, you should have it's brand recognition, right? It's brand neck recognition. It's like Coca-Cola saying, we're going to change our label to, big bold-faced type. It's going to be like an orange label with, I don't know, with blue lettering or something like that. It's not going to be scrolly looking. It's going to look all geometric. And we're just going to get rid of everything that everybody's got this brand recognition for. That's why when they screw at something this radically, well, you know what it is. I don't know. They might be trying some underhanded too, besides political correctness. They might be trying to create tensions in the United States. Because I notice they always trying to do this shit all the time. They do this all the time, man. They hit people's hot buttons as much as possible. But I think that the bills themselves, though, might be a failure. They're bringing up the fact that they had the coins out there for a while, the Susan B. Anthony gold, like the gold-colored dollars or whatever. They failed. Nobody wanted them. These notes, they chose the 20 because the 20 is the most widely circulated note right now. So they're going to try to, force it on people, more or less. But, I think that there's going to be a lot of defacement of this note. Like a lot. a real lot. I don't know what people are going to write on it, but you're going to write all kinds of crazy shit on it. And I don't think it's going to fly. I don't think it's going to fly. But then I'm a little worried about something underhanded behind the scenes, like, I'm thinking about why they put Andrew Jackson on there in the first place. It was almost like that's something Andrew Jackson wouldn't have wanted to be on that $20 bill in the first place. So I don't know. I don't know if Obama's up to something or he's just eating a hot dog in his White House cafe dinner or something. I don't know what he's doing. But I don't know. I know this guy isn't controlling his whole deal. It's just a lot of shit going on. But when I look at why this happened now, it may not be for the same reason that they put Andrew Jackson on the bill. Like I'm kind of guessing on this really, but it was like, why did they freaking put Andrew Jackson on 1928 on a $20 bill in the first place in 1928? So I mean, 100 years later, Lexi, it would have been 1929. Andrew Jackson was elected president. Then we had the market crash. Now the market crash was already pre-planned. I mean, you know what? There's a whole thing on that, but they knew what was going up. I mean, people they knew exactly what was coming up. They knew exactly what was coming up. And actually, if you look at our statistics right now with our economy, the real statistics, I mentioned a lot of stuff before, like the PE ratios are really lousy for the stock market right now. Anyway, price earnings ratio, they're like ridiculously screwed up, and we got a lot of problems with retail sector, and even if you're looking at the GDP, a lot of it's nonsense because, like, some of the stuff like I talked about before with the GDP being composed of like family counseling and daycare centers, which cost more than colleges now, right? That's all part of the great freaking GDP. What is that producing, for crying out loud? But yeah, Obama's up there eating a hot dog, so I don't know what he's doing. But anyway, the thing is, when I'm looking at this deal, there might be something with the economy they're going to pull, maybe, but there might be something else they're pulling because it's almost like that deal with the Confederate flag when they had Dylan Roof killed the people in a church. The pictures that were released on that came from the Southern Poverty Law Center, and two of those pictures definitely had that flag painted in there, like it was photoshopped in his hand. He was like holding a shot glass or something. Two of those pictures definitely had the Confederate flag photoshopped in his hand. It came from the Southern Poverty Law Center, the one funded by Soros. Now I know it's the Southern Poverty Law Center, the SPLC, but I always call it the Soros Putz Lion Communist. That's what I call it because he funds the whole damn thing. But maybe they're trying to like just create hate and dissent and division in the United States too by putting this change in the bill like this. I don't know. They might be. I mean, that could be it could be a multi-pronged strategy. But I'm really wondering why the hell they changed the bill from Grover Cleveland to Andrew Jackson in the first place. So you can look on the internet all you want. There's no real reason for it. They don't know why. Nobody knows why. But then I think I do know why. Andrew Jackson would not have wanted to be on this bill. It was like, yeah, we the central bankers won. That's what they stated. That's what they're stating by putting Andrew Jackson on this bill. It was almost like an insult to him. That's what I look at it now, and I look at it more rationally. But I look at it this way though too. From their standpoint, I don't think they really want the dollar to survive, to tell you the truth. But from their standpoint, if they do want the dollar to survive, nobody thinks about the backgrounds of these people on the bills anyway, right? They look at the note and they're used to looking at it, right? It's brand recognition. It's almost like, when you're walking a store and you're used to picking up, Coca-Cola, or you're used to picking up Colt 45 malt liquor or something, right? You don't want to change that can. You don't want to change that can at all. And by them changing his bill, I don't. I think it's bad. I think it's bad marketing. I think it's actually. I mean, if effectively, it's supposedly nothing changes, but the money is no longer really backed by anything. It's so psychological. And if people feel that something's different about it, if they feel that the dollar is not as sound anymore because when you look at it, it's not what they're accustomed to. I don't know. I don't know. They could be screwing up too. I don't know. They could be screwing up. There might be something, but I think there was something underhanded going on when they first changed to Andrew Jackson. They did not put Andrew Jackson on there in the first place because there was rampant, because there was some racist or something that decided to put Andrew Jackson on the bill. No, they did this because he was the guy that was against this paper money. He was against this Federal Reserve notes. He was against, the central bank, which is, today the Federal Reserve, but it's the Federal Reserve, but it's actually a private cartel of banks. He was against all this stuff. And then a year later, after this bill, he put the $20 bill changes. Guess what happens? We got this major crash. And then, interestingly enough, the government orders people to turn in their gold. It was illegal to own gold. And how much did you get for the gold? $20. Then what did the government revalue the gold at? $35. So isn't that really all curious as to the timing when they put Andrew Jackson on the bill in the first place? Now, I'm not sure, really, there's something more to the story besides the Harriet Tubman thing. There's more to this than what they're telling you. There's something else going on here. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be economic, or they're trying to play games like the Soros Putz Lion Communist Organization with airbrushing in Confederate flags in people's hands, right? So they say the Confederate flag committed the heinous crime, you know. Anyway, I tell you one thing. I don't know why the hell they even put Grover Cleveland on here. Grover Cleveland. Anyway, God, I think they ought to put. I don't know who the hell they put on the damn bill for crying out loud. I mean, I'd like to see General Patton on the bill for crying out loud. That'd be all right. Fine by me. But I look at it like this. You can think of a lot of people you could think that could go on the currency. You don't want to screw with brand recognition because the money today is not. It's not backed by anything. It's just paper. I mean, yeah, it seems like everything's working, but there's nothing really tangible behind it the way it used to be. And you say, the gold and the silver is all archaic. Yeah, tell me another one. They played this game a long time throughout the centuries, and you know what happened to all the civilizations that got away from sound money? They fell apart. And well, that's how we got so prosperous in the first place. And now that we're getting away from that, the only thing that's actually keeping this money system going is psychology. And the psychology is really based upon brand recognition. So when you're changing the face of the money, you're changing that brand. You know? But even so, I mean, I got a feeling the public is going to wind up not because the Susan B. Anthony dollars failed. They tried to push that on the public. We don't need these dollar bills anymore. We're going to do these coins instead. Nobody get them. Nobody took them. They're going to try to push the 20 because the 20 is like the biggest highest number denomination of bills out there. There's more 20s out there than 10s. So they're trying to do it this way. But then again, I don't know. I think people are going to wind up defacing the bills or something. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, man. But I think there's more to this than just, like the political correctness and stuff. There's something underhanded going on here. And I think there was something underhanded going on in the first place when they put Andrew Jackson on the bill. And it wasn't about, some racists put Andrew Jackson on the bill. Nah, it had nothing to do with that. It had to do with He was the guy that wanted no. He was against the paper money. He was against something like the Federal Reserve. He was against the central bank of the United States of America, which is basically the Federal Reserve. And as soon as they put that on the bill, I'll say it again. A year later, we had a stock market crash in 1929. And then after that, it was illegal to own gold. And before that, you used to have it was redeemable in gold, the money, right? Just like I showed you with the George Washington 20, redeemable in gold. Then you had to turn your gold into the government, and the government gave you $20. Then the government revalued it at $35. So something's up. Something's up. This is not just all about political correctness. Something's up. We shall see. We shall see. But I figured I'd bring this out because I don't think anybody else is. I know Alex Jones is saying it's all about they're trying to create a race war or something. I don't think so. I don't know. I look at the bill, I'm like, so Harriet Tubman's on the bill, I mean, so what? But I mean, there's something fishy going on here. There's something fishy. There was something fishy way back when they changed this. There was also something fishy in 1963 when JFK got killed, and he was coming out with those silver certificates. Remember that? And then they changed the words on the bill right after he got killed, like it's no longer redeemable in lawful money. That the bearer payable in lawful money, but to the bearer on demand. They took those words off, right? Yeah, there's something fishy going on here. I tell you one thing: you can't eat paper. Just remember that. Just remember that. Exchanges paper, not for silver and gold so much, but for food. Because I'm warning all people about this because I think that's going to be a major, major problem if there is an economic crisis. Because the last time there was one in the 1930s, there was a lot of millions of Americans that starved to death. And that was back when people all know how to grow gardens and farm and stuff. Today, nobody knows how to do that, practically, right? So anyway, just trying to give people a heads up on this and keep cool about it because I don't think. Well, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know. The millennials they'll probably go for this because they think, oh, it's so nice. We put a transgender on a bill, and we could put Caitlyn Jenner on the bill. Why not? Right? That'll be a millennial suggestion, but ain't nothing you can do about that stuff.